Second World War. Young man finished high school, in love with his high school sweetheart. They got married. The war was beginning. They were married a few months, and he joined the Air Force, was trained as a pilot, was shipped out to London. They were apart for almost 3 years. He flew many missions. When he came back home, what a reunion that was. I love those pictures, don't you, when someone comes back, particularly a military person, they've been off and they're uniting with their wife. I mean, there's something about it. I cry almost every time I see that. I'm that way. And they were united, and they began to resume their marriage, and a couple of years went by, and one day she happened to be cleaning out some areas there and ran into some of the things he brought back from the military. He'd sort of put aside way back in a box, and as she looked in the box, she encountered some letters. And she looked at them and realized in a minute they were love letters written by an English girl that her husband had an affair with while he was flying there, going back to London, back into England, the Second World War. And they were very emotional letters, very loving letters. Evidently she loved him, and though there was no response, evidently he really cared for her. And it's just devastated that little innocent wife. She couldn't believe it. All the prayers she'd offered for her husband and all the anticipation of his homecoming. And she took those letters and she held them and she was weeping. And her husband heard a noise in the other room and came in and looked in the door. And there his wife was standing with those letters, crying out to God, "Oh, Lord, oh, what's happened? I can't believe it." And all the emotions that goes into that moment. And the husband saw that she had found those letters, and he just fell on his face, flat of his face, and said, "God, I've destroyed everything. What a fool I am." And he was broken, and he said he looked up, and he saw his wife standing by the window holding those letters, and he said, "I saw my sin. Crucify my wife. Crucify my wife." And he said, "I cried out to God and said, but a little while she came and bent down and kissed me on the top of my head and said, 'I forgive you.'" With adultery, there has to be a crucifixion. There has to be a death, the death of the sin. And a death has to be paid to clean up your life and to clean up my life.